Hello, Sploresville. This morning when David Andrews woke up, he felt like there was a dark cloud that was following him around. David had been down for a few days now, ever since it was announced that the Lake Sumac Mall was going to be closing. It was his favorite mall, and an indoor mall. The old saying was that to get to Lake Sumac, you went up to the Burn Mountain Pass and took the direction that your heart told you to go in, but it was a left. Ever since his son Chad had been born about 4.5 months ago, he would go up to the Lake Sumac Mall on the weekends. He didn't buy anything. He would just walk around the mall and look into the stores and imagine how he might steal something from them. His childhood friend John Sanchez, when he was about 16, had earned a reputation for walking into a Sears and picking up a box that had a television in it and just walking right out with it hoisted on his shoulders. As a new father, these were the sorts of thoughts and experiences that connected him to the world when his own had been reduced to almost nothing. But today he didn't go to the mall. He had the baby, and he took the baby into his least favorite room in the house. It was in between the study and the bedroom off the hallway, and just one wall had a window in it. A shag carpet, a single couch, and a light. They'd tried to put a TV in there, almost as an act of desperation at some point, but no one went in there to watch it, and they put it in the kitchen instead. He was angry at his wife, who had said, "Can you hold Chad for just 1 minute while I get a couple things done?" And that had been about 7 minutes ago. And he was angry that things just didn't mean what they used to mean anymore, and the mall he used to go to wasn't going to be there anymore, and he would never have a chance to steal a television like John Sanchez had. He also didn't know if he loved his son. That had been on his mind for a bit. A while back, he'd noticed a wasp nest that had formed just under the gutter on the side of his house, and he poked at it a bit and sprayed it with a bunch of wasp-killing spray. Most of the wasps flew away as they died, but the larvae, they fell out directly below and crawled on the ground. And in that moment, he felt a lot of pity and compassion for those little white worms as they crawled around, unable to fend for themselves. If he had to say it, I suppose that's what he would say he felt about his son Chad as they sat there on the couch in his least favorite room in the house. And David thought maybe that was the love you feel for a child. He didn't know. And that was right around when Chad noticed the light. It was a sconce light with a polka dot shade about halfway up the wall on one end of the couch, which kind of fit perfectly between the two walls. And Chad's eyes just lit up, and he smiled the biggest smile. And David was so excited that he'd found something that gave Chad pleasure. "Honey," he called. He said, "Honey, look at this," as he lay back and held Chad over his head and bounced him a bit as Chad reared his head up, still looking at that light. And David felt like he had done something, like he had discovered this light, and he was feeling an immense amount of pride for himself. And just while he was experiencing that pride, two things happened. His wife came into the door frame and looked at the two of them, beaming, and Chad threw up fully, right down and into David's mouth. So it dripped down the sides of his cheek and onto the couch. All of that bouncing had created a burp in Chad, and further bouncing had made it a bit more vigorous. It took a moment for David to gather himself, but by the time he did, his wife was on the floor in pain. She had sprained a rib from laughing so hard. And a bit later, after David came out of the bathroom and had cleaned himself up a bit, he held his boy Chad and looked at him and felt like they understood each other just a bit better. It seems like some wonderful progress has been made on the mascot designs and the song, and maybe tomorrow we'll take a look and listen. Or maybe the next day. I'm not sure. I'll leave you with the Sploresville motto, "Let's find out."